Assalamu alaikum. Today we shall discuss about the topic whether mathematics is discovered or invented. Sometimes we think we have invented mathematics because 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. This is the rule we invented to explain the universe. But sometimes, especially considering science, when we do research in science, we encounter that math is the language of the universe itself, because the scientific rules they work in mathematical way. So is mathematics the natural language of the universe, or did we invent mathematics? This is our topic today. So are numbers, polygons, equations, are they real? Are they really real, or are they just the embodiment of some theoretical ideal? So let's go back to the time of Pythagoras. In the time of Pythagoras, the Pythagoreans they thought the numbers are real. Like you and me, like the universe, the numbers are real, and the numbers are real entity. They thought the number one as the monad. Monad means he who creates. So they thought the number one as the generator. It creates the other numbers. Plato thought the mathematical concepts were concrete. They are not abstract. They are concrete. They were as real as the universe itself. He thought that mathematics exists whether we know of it or not. According to Euclid, nature itself is the physical manifestation of some mathematical laws. Some people thought that maybe numbers, polygons, they were real or not, but they think mathematical statements they are definitely not real, because we impose truth values on mathematical statements. So the outcomes of the mathematical statements depend on what we impose on them as truth values. So according to them, mathematics is invented. They think mathematics is just a logic exercise and it is developed by human brain, and mathematics is as it is what human brain thinks. Other proponents of who think mathematics is an invention is Leopold Kronecker. He was a German mathematician. He criticized Cantor's set theory. There is a famous saying of Leopold Kronecker. He said, God created the natural numbers, all else is the work of man. So according to him, God created the natural numbers, so it is real, but the left are invented. So human being created the rest of the things. So mathematics is an invention. Another proponent is David Hilbert. He was a mathematician, a philosopher, and he defended Cantor's set theory. During his time, there was a push to establish mathematics as a logical construct. And as Euclid tried to axiomatize all of the geometry, and David Hilbert tried to axiomatize all of the mathematics. And David Hilbert and other mathematicians thought mathematics as a philosophical game. So after all, it's a game, so it's an invention. Another proponent of mathematics as an invention was Henri Poincaré, a French mathematician. He was one of the fathers of non-Euclidean geometry. Non-Euclidean geometry means Euclid established flat surface geometry. So we know that the geometry we taught in our school life, the flat surface geometry, but there is another type of geometry which is non-flat surface geometry, non-Euclidean geometry. It is the geometry of the elliptical and hyperbolic curvature surface. So Henri Poincaré said that Euclid's geometry is not universal. There is another type of geometry, non-Euclidean geometry. So that proves that mathematics is not universal. Now we shall discuss about the proponent who think mathematics as a discovery. So at first the name comes Eugene Wigner. He was a Nobel Prize winning physicist. He won Nobel Prize in Physics in 1963. In 1960 he wrote an outstanding article. It is the unreasonable effectiveness of mathematics in science. Here he expressed that some mathematics was developed in vacuum. So when the mathematics was developed, the mathematicians who developed this, they didn't think the mathematics would be useful in one day. But after some decades or even some centuries, the mathematics became useful especially in physics and natural sciences. How is it possible that mathematics was developed in vacuum? There's no intention to use that mathematics in real life, but that mathematics is becoming useful to explain the sciences. For example, British mathematician Gottfried Hardy, once he boasted that he worked on number theory. He boasted that none of my work will become useful any day. Modern cryptography depends on number theory. When the number theory was developed, there was no intention that it would be useful in one day. But now cryptography uses number theory tremendously. So how this pure mathematics comes into usefulness into science? There is another law in genetics named Hardy-Weinberg genetics. So the number theory of Hardy is useful to explain the Hardy-Weinberg law in genetics. How is this possible? Isn't mathematics discovered? Another thing, the Fibonacci numbers. Fibonacci was a mathematician in Italy. He was the most talented mathematician in the Middle Ages. So he discovered Fibonacci looking at a rabbit population, idealized rabbit population. So it was an abstract concept. But people saw the Fibonacci sequence everywhere in the nature, from sunflower seeds to flower petal arrangement, from a structure of pineapple to the branching of bronchi of the lungs. So it proves that mathematics is a discovery. Bernhard Riemann was a German mathematician. He worked on non-Euclidean geometry. So it was purely mathematical. But Einstein used that mathematics to explain the general theory of relativity. So that mathematics was useful to explain the Einstein's theory. And Einstein's theory explained how the universe works. So isn't mathematics the natural language of the universe? Another example is mathematical knot theory. It was the geometry of position. So how you tie a knot? This is mathematical knot theory. So at first you can think that it is purely theoretical. There is nothing usefulness of this mathematical knot theory. But late in the 20th century, this mathematical knot theory becomes useful in explaining how DNA unravels. Astonishing. Again, this mathematical knot theory is also useful to explain string theory. So, is mathematics discovered or invented, and it becomes sometimes spiritual? Is mathematics the thing what we invented, or is it always there in the nature? So, we can conclude our discussion today by a Zen koan. Think that there are number of trees in a forest. Maybe the number is 3,000, 4,000 or 5,000. So there is a number of trees in a forest, but there is no person to count the trees. There is a number of trees in a forest, but there is no one to count the trees. So is that number exist? That is the question I throw to you. Please think, is mathematics discovered or invented? What is the ultimate nature of our reality? Okay, thank you.